Cheers to the freaking weekend, you guys. It's Saturday. I hope you're having a good one. This morning, I went to the gym, which is always a depressing occasion. And then I went to IHOP. So my Saturday's been going well so far. Welcome to my TV guide, all about what I'm watching. I'm Alta, and I'm going to talk about the second presentation of How to Get Away with Murder. So this episode was called It's All Her Fault, which I forgot when I was watching the episode, but I did figure out that the daughter did it before the episode was even over. So this second episode was solid, solid just like the first one. So the case was about this man who has been accused of killing his wife. He's rich, he is eclectic, and turns out he is disturbed. Rich, white, cold, disturbed man. And he didn't kill this wife, because this was his second wife, but he did kill the first one. The daughter found out, Eloise, I think her name was, she found out. And now, let's think about her, process, okay? She found out that her dad killed her mother. Horrible, of course. Killed her mother. No, the mother didn't really die in a car accident like he's always told her, like she's always believed. She found out that he killed her. He was put on trial for it in Sweden, I think, and he got off. He was put on trial for homicide, and they weren't able to get a conviction, and so he walked free. He moved them from Sweden to the U.S., changed their names and all that. She found out. Now, of course, logically, understandably, she wants him to pay for what he did to her mother. So she finds this out. Does she take it to the police? It must be the case that he can't be tried in the U.S. for, the murder that he committed in Sweden. That must be the case, because he shocked me by admitting on, the stand that he killed his wife. So she finds this out. Instead of taking it to the police so they can do something about it, instead of getting herself a lawyer, instead of wiring herself and trying to get a confession out of him, no, she thinks, let me frame him for a second murder so that he can go to jail, the jail that he didn't go to when he called my mom. She just took it all the way to the right, all the way. And so, and it's the fact that also, let's think about the fact that she killed her stepmom. Now, this is a woman that, from what I remember, she grew up with. Because I think that the father said that he met her when the girl was 7, or the mother died when the girl was 7. She met this woman a while ago. And so she said that, he said that, she's the woman who's maybe the most, made me very, very happy and all that stuff. So the girl grew up with the woman. Even if, typical, rich people style, she was always in boarding school, whatever, she's known this woman for years. And she decides to, use her as the pawn to get her father in jail because she was that pissed off about and hurt about what he did to her mother. Just complete debauchery and craziness. So she did it. It's all her fault. And then to just to give you more, Annalise figures out that she didn't figure it out. Her team brought it to her who it was. I think either that sent it. They traced the IP address or some crazy thing like that. And they figured out that it was the daughter. And the moment when I knew that she did it was actually when she was first introduced, because the lesson of the episode from Annalise to her pupils was that, do you really know people? Do you really know the person who is your friend, the person you're married to, the person you're going out with, the person who's sitting next to you, the person you're in a group with, and all of that? Do you really know them? And so she said that because, it was about choosing the right character witness to put on the stand, because that person can make or break your case. If they're too nice, the jury won't buy it, and all that stuff. And the next episode is called Smile or Go to Jail, which I'm pretty sure is talking about Becky, because, she don't smile like that. So, so Annalise, realizes that she did it. Oh, and so when she was introduced, there was some point where, her father was doing the most, talking about something, which I actually laughed at it, and he was like, he was like nudging her. She's like, what? He's like, well, I mean, there he is. Like I was telling you in the car, there he is. Just think of the beautiful children you guys would make together. I laughed at it. He was talking about Wes, who was cutie patootie. And so at some point in that scene where they were like talking to her and going over it, I was like, she did it. Like at some point I was like, she did it. And so Annalise, gets hip to that fact. And when she goes to break it to the father, she's not like, they're both looking at the girl, and she's not like, soft about it, gentle, oh my god, I'm about to break his role. Yeah, even if he did commit a murder before, but that's his daughter, that's his little girl. And she's essentially about to tell him that your daughter just tried to frame you and get you put in jail for like life or something like that. So she's not like, you should know, I don't really know how to say this, but she did it. She was just like, she did it. And then his response was like, something like, yeah, I know, or something like that. He's like, but don't you worry about her. I'm going to take care of her. Not like, kill her. Because I would not want to pay you that much money to get me off again. Although, you never know. Like, just turned up. So, that was them. So now let's talk about our regular characters and what we learned from them through this case. So the first person I want to talk about is Connor. Connor, who, Michaela wasn't able to come up with something, so there he was to pick it up and, get in good with Annalise and, show himself, prove himself and all that stuff. So he contacts Oliver. He gets a name. His name's Oliver. And for another favor, basically, to get him the deeds, to get him what he needs. And so he promises dinner that night. And then he ends up canceling because stuff's going on, he can't make it. And so then he shows up at the end with dinner, and Oliver's like, no. Like, no, what do you think this is? No, like, I'm not some twink. No. And, Connor's, like, trying to be cute and talk about some, you're too old to be a twink. And Oliver's like, bah. And so he closes the door. And then he opens it right back up. And, he says, okay, fine, but tonight I do you. Now, please talk to me and tell me if you really believe that Oliver ended up doing Connor that night. If you really believe, let me know in the comments. I don't believe that he ended up doing Connor that night. I don't believe that he mounted Connor. Connor had his legs up in the air and his shoulders, or that he was on his stomach, or he had his leg raised up to the side. I don't believe that Connor was in that position. I believe that Connor topped Oliver again, just like last time. And here's why I think this. First of all, let's talk about Oliver, okay? Oliver, we met him. He is, he's been a little dry. In terms of the attention and the, going out on dates and, picking up a guy and all that stuff. So that's number one. Number two, so then Connor comes to talk to him, and then Connor, like, openly shows interest in another man. And, at first Oliver was like, no, I can't tell you that because I might get in trouble. And then when he sees that the attention's about to go away, he flips and changes his mind. He's like, all right, I'll give it to you. And then he give it to him. So then, flash forward to this episode where he's like, what do you think this is? Like, you think, your dick ain't that bomb? Like, no. And then he closes the door. Not even a second later, he opens it back up. He's like, okay, fine. And I understand. I get it, Oliver. I'm just talking about the fact that, no, he did not end up doing Connor. So that's Oliver. He did not. So that's Oliver. Connor, I don't believe that he got done that night. And he told Michaela, I don't do boyfriends. What I heard was, I don't do intimacy. I don't do submissive. That's what I heard. Because that's what it always is. Whenever characters say, I don't do relationships, I don't do love, I don't do boyfriends, I don't do girlfriends, it means they have some intimacy issues. So I don't believe that Connor, got put into that position. I think that as soon as they walked in, maybe they had dinner first or whatever, whenever it was that it happened, I think that they started, and on Oliver, the thought just completely went away, and on Connor's side, he was just like, because Connor's personality and the way he carries himself and the way he gives you attention is very like overwhelming in its intensity, I feel. And so that when they got started, I feel like, Oliver got overwhelmed, and then got his life, got his, orgasm. And Connor, I think part of him was like, forget that you wanted to do me tonight. So I think Connor has some intimacy issues. So all of that put together is why I don't believe Mr. Oliver got to do Connor tonight. The most he did probably was lick the butt. And after that, it was like, Connor, she did him right. So I'm happy to see Oliver back. I knew before the episode aired that he was going to be back because I saw stills from the episode, so I knew. So that was that. That was them. That's what I wanted to say about Connor, is that I don't think Oliver did him tonight. I think it was the other way around. And so good for them. Want to see more of them. Can't wait. Can't wait to see when Oliver shows up again. So that's Connor. The person who helped solve the case. They all helped in a little way. But the person who, gave the answer was Laurel. Laurel finally showed out and got Annalise to, say her name, to recognize her, to notice her. So, at the beginning of the episode, or towards the beginning, Connor was hating to us because Annalise called Wes into her office, and Connor was like, why him? Am I the only one who's confused? What is he doing here? What's up? And so Bonnie said, what are any of you doing here? Which, why are you being so mean to these students? They're here to learn. Can you chill? And so then here comes Laurel later on, goes to sit with, sits in Bonnie's office because I think she brought some info or something like that. She's like, I figured it out. And as soon as she said that, I was like, Laurel, don't do this. It was a rhetorical question. She wasn't really looking for an answer. If you were going to say that to anyone, why would you go say it to her? She's clearly not here for any of you. Took out some. I don't understand why any of you are here. They're all there because Annalise chose them. Again, calm down. And so poor Laurel, she's like, Asher is here because of his parents' money. I think she said that Connor and Michaela are cutthroat. And Wes, has something going on with Annalise. Or I'm here because Frank and then she's like, I'm here because Frank chose me, right? And so then Bonnie said something that made me laugh. She was like, I know I look nice, but that's just my face. I look nice, I know, but that's just my face. Don't get it twisted. And so she completely shuts her down. But at the same time, she gives her a little bit of advice. She said, I don't know why you're here talking to me when you should be getting Annalise to notice you and, remember your name. And so what Laurel ended up noticing is the messiness of the kill. And so she said, he's a hunter. No, he's a hunter, which means he knows how to kill. And so Annalise took it to court. And, asked them, how do you kill a deer or a buck or whatever. And he demonstrated on Bonnie, and he admits that he killed his wife and blah, blah. So, Laurel got one. Good for her. She got one, got Annalise to, afterwards Annalise congratulated her, and she said, I'd keep an eye out on Miss Castillo and Mr. Gibbons, because it's usually the quiet ones who come out the cut and, takes everything away from you. So that was that. Good for Laurel. Keep it up, Laurel, basically. And so, Mr. West, Mr. Gibbons, the important thing that we got from West happened in the future. 2.5 months in the future. That's the part where, we learned something from him. First of all, he lied, about the coin toss. He said that it ended in heads, it ended in tails. So he lied. Now, and so he goes to get some food, and turns out while he was getting the food, he bought up, a disposable phone, and he placed a call to someone. And I was like, is it Rebecca? Because I told you guys that I don't want Annalise to have been the one who, told them to do the murder or told them to hide the body. I don't want her to be involved. I don't want her to be involved until after the fact. So far I'm getting that. When he was on the phone, I was like, because when he was on the phone, he's talking, he's like, whatever, it's done. And then we cut to the present, and Annalise comes in like she's on the phone, but she was really taking off her earrings. But I noticed that imagery, and I was like, okay, is it there because he was talking, did they do that because he was talking to Annalise, or because they want us to think that he was talking to Annalise? So I I was like, is he protecting Annalise or is he protecting Rebecca? Turns out he's protecting Rebecca because he goes there and she's like, oh my God, don't ever leave me again. You're not allowed to ever leave me again. Now, Wes says it's done. So, and he's protecting Rebecca, but did Rebecca ask him or put the idea out there that it would be better for her if the body and all of the evidence that it contains was destroyed? Because he says it's done. Like, he doesn't elaborate, none of that. It's done, which means she knows what he was talking about. So, did they decide together to burn the body, and Wes carried it out? So, a lot of the people who, I watch How to Get Away with Murder with are salty because Wes is doing all of this for Rebecca instead of Annalise. So what's up? What's going on? He promises her that no one's going to hurt her. So who's after her? She's going on trial next episode. Annalise is not going to be her lawyer. I think she's going to be the guy's lawyer, the ex-boyfriend of the girl who got killed. So who's after her? I think Wes is going to convince Annalise to take up the girl's case after it's all said and done or whatever. So I have questions, but is Wes right or is he wrong? Is the girl playing him? I hope he's right. He has good judgment. He's been shown to have good judgment so far. So I more than anything, I hope that we're not building up to this only to find out when we get there that, Wes was wrong and she was lying to him. I don't want that. So that's the second reason why I think he's right, because I don't want us to be building up to finding out that he made a mistake, in doing all of this. Like, this is the beginning of the show. We're building the foundation. Let's not build it on someone who is wrong, So, in the future, in the present, we saw Connor going, why is he here? But in the future, he's like, Wes would never do that, because what Michaela's like, what if he's gonna pin this and that stuff, and Connor's like, Wes would never do that. Now, is he saying that because him and Wes get close by that point, or is he saying that because it's like, Wes is a good guy, he's a puppy, and he's all that, so he would never do that? It's just not in him. He's not capable. Which is it? We shall, we'll find out. I don't know which one I think it is. Is it because him and Wes got close, or what? Him and Michaela, let me skip. I have to skip. Him and Michaela seem to have gotten a little bit closer, because I swear that in that commercial for maybe not next week, but the upcoming episodes, I saw Connor and Michaela taking a selfie. And I showed it to someone else, my Michaela, Connor shipping buddy, and she says it's him. Because when I paused it, I was like, wait a second, this person has too much facial hair. I don't think it's Connor. But she was like, nah, it's him. So I'm believing that it's him. They're taking a selfie together. So of course, 2.5 months working on these cases, they're going to get close. They're actually going to become friends. So is that the case for Wes and Connor? Or is he saying that based on who Wes is so far? Let me tell, and then, Michaela, she doesn't actually believe that Wes would do that either. But Becky, on the other hand, that's another subject completely. So I think that by that point, Wes is going to really be trying to convince them to believe in Becky's innocence. And Michaela, for one, is going to be like, no, I'm going to side-eye her until we can be 100% that she didn't actually do it. So now let me go to Wes's personality and who he is. Him and Becky are together in the future. Do I see it? Do I see it? I don't see it. What I mean is that I don't see her as his type. I don't know why he's interested in her. I don't know why he's going to be. I don't know. She dropped her towel in this episode, trying to be extra. But I don't see it. She doesn't seem like his type, looks-wise, all that eyeliner, her hair, her clothes, her attitude. Last episode, it seemed like she was cooling down a little bit, because I didn't mind when she was like, no, I'm not going to turn down my music. That's whatever. That's them telling me who she is, whatever. But by the end of the episode, she gave him a bottle of wine. Kind of like, okay, let me chill out. You're okay. But then when this episode started, she was interacting with him like she never spent her money on that bottle. So, her attitude and stuff, I don't know why he would be interested and her, but they're together. And then why would she be interested in him? The way she was like, you're not allowed to ever leave me, I think it's gonna be something like, oh, no one's ever been nice to me, no guy's ever been nice to me just to be nice to me. They usually want something. I think that's gonna be her story. But Becky herself, I don't really have anything against her. As far as emo white girls go, I know the actress is like a quarter Chinese or something like that, but her character Becky is white. So they're using, her passing to their full advantage. As far as white emo, fictional female characters go, she could be a lot worse. It could be the point where, like, everything she says makes me roll my eyes. So she's fine. Michaela didn't really get much to do in this episode. At one point when Asher, whatever the hell his name is, the man who killed his wife, he was talking about romance and that stuff, she was smiling, but then he was like, when he said, she makes me the happiest anyone's ever made me, and then she was smiling, and then he goes, as happy as anyone can be in a forced, archaic institution such as marriage. And the smile got wiped off her face. So, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that things aren't totally kosher in Michaela's engagement, which I thought, she was wearing that ring just to, ward off unwanted attention, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So, I don't think everything's cool in her engagement. And I'll talk more about that when they talk more about that. But I'm going to let you guys know right now that I don't think everything's cool. Either she's not. I think she believes in love and she believes in marriage. That's what that smile was about. But when she stopped smiling, it just seemed like, so things like that don't exist. Real love and real happiness in a relationship. That's what I'm getting. We shall see. Asher got told by Michaela when he was like, oh, maybe he's her secret son and all that stuff. And I know he was joking. But it's like some jokes coming from, the white people. It's like you're pulling that from a stereotype. From something that your people tend to believe. I mean, news reporters, like news stations, news sites are still mistaking one black celebrity for another. So it's like, so Michaela shut him down, because all black people look alike, right? He's like, oh, no, I didn't mean it. And that was funny. And he was joking, but it's like, there's something to that joke coming from you. Annalise and her husband. She looked through that man's phone and saw texts from the deceased girl. Okay? Then she goes and, she wins the case and he wants to celebrate and all that stuff, so he goes. She looks through his phone again and all of the, I think there were emails, not text messages, all of them are gone, and I knew they were going to be gone as soon as she picked up the phone. He deleted everything. So, what is he hiding? What is he hiding? Is he trying to hide the affair? Or is he trying to hide things that could implicate him in the murder, wrongfully implicate him in the murder? Is he innocent and he's just trying to cut ties, get rid of all evidence of his connection with that girl so that he doesn't get wrongfully accused of killing her? Or did he actually have a hand in killing her? Why did he kill her? Because like Annalise said, she has reason to be suspicious, to be jealous and all that stuff because he's had affairs before, basically. So what happened that led him to kill this girl? Did she get pregnant? Is that what happened? So she goes running to her cop, who is salty, understandably, because I asked last review, can't he get in trouble for what he said on the stand? Yes, I think he's suspended or something like that, or they're talking about suspending him. But, his livelihood is in trouble, that paycheck, and so he's like, you roasted me on the stand, and you got an orgasm, you're all good, so what service can I, do for you now? And so she basically wants him to look into Sam's alibi. Was he really, I think, at Yale, like he said he was? Was he really there? And he is being stupid. Whatever his name is, her lover, I feel like he was being willfully obtuse. Telling us you're just, doing the most and all that stuff. But it's like, you're a cop. You should want to, especially since you're possibly in trouble, you should want to figure out this murder. Eliminate some suspects. Do it. But instead he puts up a fight, puts up an argument and all that stuff. And Annalise is like close to tears. It's like we're all capable of terrible things and all that stuff. So So I think he's going to look into it. And then something happened that I wasn't really sure why it happened. Annalise goes home and sleeps with her husband. I thought she was pulling an Olivia Pope, give him the sex, so then he knocks out afterwards, and she, I don't know, puts a LoJack on his phone like Olivia did, or gets something. I thought there was a point to it, but no, she just slept with him after she was, close to tears, wanting to make sure he was where he really was. So I don't understand. And then afterwards, she's crying. So I didn't really understand why she went and slept with him if she didn't really get anything out of it. So that was that. That was the episode. It was a good one. So apparently going forward, what they're going to do is, flash forward same night and just show us different parts of it until we get to that episode where they show us like in a linear way. So the last thing I want to say is that, okay, so was Becky there? Did she do the killing? So, and I don't think she and the husband were messing with each other, but I think she might, because the girl was her best friend, so I think she knew about the Sam and the girl. I think she's the one who killed him. It wasn't anyone in the group. She killed him, and then I guess maybe they got her out of there, and that's why when Michaela said she would pin the murder on us. I think we have our killer. She's the one who killed him, and Wes burned the body so that she wouldn't go to jail, because I'm thinking that he's thinking that her killing him was justified. So can't wait for next week. I can't wait to see something new about that night with the flash forward, and I can't wait, of course, to keep getting to know the characters. So that's the episode. Comment, let me know what you think, let me know your theories, let me know your speculations, and I'll see you guys next Thursday. Bye.